This episode is brought to you by Peloton. Welcome to your Peloton Pilates era. Trusted by over 2 million members, experienced instructors with true Pilates expertise, offering classes for every level. Choose from 10 to 45-minute sessions with little to no equipment. Anytime, anywhere. And with the cross-training swivel screen, you can move seamlessly from cardio to mat. Press Pilates. Small moves, big impact. Find out more at onepeloton.com/Pilates.
Hi, I'm James Caan. I wrote the novels of Return of the Jedi, Poltergeist, Indiana Jones, and the Temple of Doom.
Hey, I'm UFC strawweight Rana Marcos.
Hey, it's Tyler from Theory of a Dead Man.
Hey, I'm Tim Coates. Hi, this is Scott Coker, president of Bellator MMA.
Hey guys, I'm Canadian Olympian Lauren Susselman.
Hey guys, this is Mia Kang, Sports Illustrated swimsuit model and Muay Thai fighter.
Hey everybody, what's happening? This is Zach Wild from Black Label Society.
Hey everybody, this is Devin Townsend, and you're listening to the Toddcast Podcast. Enjoy.
The Toddcast Podcast
is powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
This week, 3 guests, 3 conversations, 3 completely different worlds. Music, sports, entertainment. In sports, he's a sharp mind from the business side of the CFL, where it's all about filling stadiums, leadership, momentum, and what happens behind the scenes. George Chayka is the Senior VP of Business for your BC Lions, and he's a guest this week. A quick clip from our chat. Check out what he calls an average day.
An average day is probably different than most. I mean, I get up early, anywhere from 3:30 in the morning to 4. My alarm's set at 4:20, but I very seldom.
At 4:20? Why did you pick that number specifically? Why is it 4:20?
I don't know. It's just every night I set it at 4:20, and I kind of got it planned because I'll get up. I'll get up, and I mean, lately it's been around 3:30. But I'll get up and I'll have a Bang energy drink and I'll start working at my desk, and it'll be a couple cups of coffee. And then I'll probably work for about an hour. And what I run into a lot of times is that when you get in the groove in the morning and you're starting to knock things off your list and getting organized, it's tough to pull away.
He goes, it's tough to pull away when you're feeling like you're getting accomplished. And no doubt, right? Like once you get into a groove, look out. So joining BC Lions Senior VP of Business in entertainment, she navigates global entertainment, protects her clients, and has some serious hustle. Entertainment manager Shruti Sadana is also a guest.
Well, I have about 33 clients. It's hard for me to keep up with the verticals because there's so many, but the thing about my clients is they're not needy, like where they're texting me about every little thing. And sometimes one person needs more attention. So it spreads out. So I'm not like constantly bombarded. But even if I was, like, I love all of them and they're good people. So when auditions come in, I'm always happy. I'm just like, forward this email. We use this system, and then I forward it to them. They get the casting notice, and then they tape, and then it goes to casting.
I couldn't imagine what some clients are like. She goes, the thing with my clients is they're not needy, texting me about every little thing. Honestly, pretty cool insight into acting and that world this week. And you'll hear from this week's musical guest in just a second. A guy who grew up in a music house, as you would expect, found fame with a band called My Darkest Days, and is now storming out on his own, hell-bent on a solo career. You'll hear from him in just a sec. It's great to have you there, of course, as well. After all, you are the reason I make these podcasts. My name is Todd Hancock. I want to say thanks to our sponsors out of the gate. It's the reason we're able to keep making these podcasts, like our title sponsor, Citywide Mortgage Services, good friends of the podcast, good buddies. One of the owners, Dara, I've known him for years. He helped me I guess it was 2 years ago now, technically. He helped me renew, what's when Trump was getting sworn into office. So I guess it was last year. And everything was just so uncertain, I guess kind of like it is today. It couldn't have been in better hands, too. Great rate, first off, locked in. I can't do the variable interest rate. Just tell me how much I owe every couple of weeks and I'm good to go. And of course, the Bank of Canada recently dropped the key interest rate. That's your time to buy or renew or refinance. I know that you know the name. Citywide has been in the game for decades here in Vancouver. They work for you. They don't work for the big banks. They're independent. They have access to over 30 lenders. So why not use my network to better yours? Citywidemortgage.ca. Citywidemortgage.ca. It's who I trust when it's time to renew my mortgage. Okay, so coming up in just a few minutes, listen to this. Retired NBA center A.C. Earl wrote an excellent book about rap bands, and he talks about where he would put the Beastie Boys in the grand scheme of things. That is powered by our good friends at Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. RV service, repairs, yes, they are ICBC accredited, check, check, check. And they're 11, getting into 11-year sponsor, nonstop, haven't taken a break. It is simply a mind blower, the support that Tamara and her crew have thrown our way. It truly is. Find them online, of course, like everybody, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Tedco RV Supplies. First, our first guest of three, this week's musical guest, Reid Henry, is powered by Parallel 49 Brewing, an absolute powerhouse in craft beer, not just locally here in Vancouver, but across British Columbia. They've been around since 2012, just a bunch of buddies that were passionate about great beer. So if you're not familiar, please do check them out. If you'd like to do it online, parallel49brewing.com. So you'll likely best know Reid Henry as a Canadian singer-songwriter, best known, as mentioned, as the guitarist and keyboardist for My Darkest Days. Just a small-town kid from Barrie, Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, it was like suburban Ontario in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, I was a big Matt Good fan and an Our Lady Peace fan, and played N64 and, like, I don't know, somewhat, you know, baseline idyllic childhood. But I think I started playing punk rock music. My parents got divorced, and I started to like listen to heavy metal, and skateboard, and smoke pot, and kind of went from there, and ended up in some metal bands and stuff, and like kind of became obsessed with writing music. And I think that's what drove me to like want to pursue it fully and completely. And I moved out and left Barrie or Toronto, moved in with my band. We had this like, you know, local band in Toronto, and I moved in next to My Darkest Days at this like live-in rehearsal space. That's where I met Matt and Brendan and Doug. And I started like, you know, we would bump cigarettes off each other, and I'd like help them go to their shows and like load gear for them. And then, you know, they'd let my band open up, and we started kind of hanging out from there. And eventually when they were auditioning for guitar player, I was teaching all the people who were coming in the parts. So they kind of had a meeting and decided to let me join the band.
Big moments in his life. I started playing punk rock music. My parents got divorced. Reid toured extensively, performing with My Darkest Days worldwide. And after his time with them, he fronted the band Dead Set Society. And as mentioned, he's now pursuing that solo career. A great talk with Reid as well. It's just over half hour long. You can hear it now at iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, I suppose. And of course, the video portion, if you'd rather watch it, at our YouTube channel. All at Toddcast Podcast. So he's a been there, done that artist, right? My Darkest Days saw some substantial fame, and now he's focused on that solo career. So what is it? What's the hardest thing about making it?
I think if you love the work, that's kind of the easy part, whether it's like making content on the internet or, you know, promoting a song. Like if you find ways to kind of get invigorated by that, I don't think that's like for me, that doesn't burn me out. I could do that all day. I love writing music. I could spend all my time in the studio and tour for like ever, you know. Right. So I don't know. For me, it's like I love that. I think it's like the hardest part is just like, you know, there's a period where like 2000s rock became like very uncool, and I think to stick to your guns and just like, you know, believe in what you're doing is kind of the hardest part. When it's you know, when you see the zeitgeist kind of move on, it's a humbling experience. You know, fame is temporary. Everything is temporary. So it's important to like have the right reasons for doing things, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you're just trying to chase a moment, you know, it's hard to have the level of commitment you need in order to actually get it without the right reasons.
Yeah.
People do, but I think it's the hardest part. It's just like, in my experience, when I've wanted something for the wrong reasons, it's like harder to have the discipline to do it. Whereas like when I'm excited by something or like passionate about a thing, it comes together faster and better and more authentically, I think.
That's a quote. It's a humbling experience, fame is temporary. So it's interesting to hear from somebody who's already experienced fame and talking about how truly fleeting it is. So Reid was down to talk about everything, of course, right? Getting into his childhood. We talked about binging The Runner and X-Files. He touched on career highlights. We talked about the COVID years, superhero movies and superpowers that he'd want to have, fictional characters, seeing Blue Rodeo live, a pretty sweet first concert.
I went to concerts with my friends basically from the age 14 on, but I think my parents were never really like, they were just kind of trying, getting by and doing the suburban 90s parents thing.
Yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
also known as the grind. So what was your first concert you went to?
I think Blue Rodeo at Barrie Town, like Barrie's City Hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a great show, of course. Like those guys are. Speaking of the top of the hill, like those guys are. At this point, I mean, I saw them maybe about 6 months ago. Took the whole family and saw them at the QE Theater here in Vancouver, and it was like almost untouchable. Like I don't know that those guys ever play a bad show.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
epic show.
And what stands out for you from that night, the first time seeing Blue Rodeo?
Just like, as a kid, the memory I have is just like, I think overstimulation and just like having sound everywhere and, the nature of being at a live show.
Yeah.
I think like the big takeaway for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I saw a bunch of bands and it all kind of blurred together. So at the time, I don't know if it occurred to me like the Blue Rodeo was like a big deal, and they are, and like
it really is mind blowing. He goes, I think the overstimulation and just like having sound everywhere, what he remembers about the first show. I don't know what it is, but don't you just love hearing people talk about their first concert and deeper? Like Reid talked about a near death tour bus story. We talked about adversity. Deftones and Metallica came up. So did the Toronto Maple Leafs, coffee and weed, 3 Days Grace. What is the takeaway of working in studio with Nickelback's Chad Kroeger?
Oh man, he is a legend. It's like, I had personally like absorbed those records already as a, music fan and a Nickelback fan, but to like, see him in action and see him work is like, he's at a elite level of what he does. And it's a humbling experience to get to work with people like at that level of talent.
Yeah, right. Because suddenly you're like, I'm not sure about this or whatever. Like, oh no, take that and do that instead of that. Maybe put the chorus, at the very front of the song, or it's just those little types of songs that, like you say, when you work with a great songwriter, suddenly it opens up your world. Like it truly is collaborations, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly. And that's why, like now, I after I guess age too. Yeah. Like I'm much older now, so like now after having done it for almost more than 20 years songwriting, like I can think back to like things he did and mannerisms and like workflow and stuff, and like kind of trip and realize like, oh yeah, like I see it now.
Parallel 49 Brewing is proudly the official beer of the Toddcast podcast, where craft meets character.
The pressure's building inside of this house. I'm nothing but trouble when words are escaping my mouth. I feel this all going south. You always tell me that I am no fun. I hold it together while you're finding ways to stay numb, just to slip off the tongue. It's got nothing left. Always taken for granted, so I'm stuck here feeling bereft. An unmistakable theft. And if I'm honest, I've got more to say, but I won't even bother, cause you never listen anyway. And I'll wear the blame. You thought we would grow old, you've been down in the dumps. You tear me apart with each clandestine bump. It's so clear to see why this love's been so tough. You fly away on me and I've had enough. Let the rain fall down on me. You say I'll never leave, you're in pain. It's clear for all to see, young and vain. Let the rain fall down on me. Let the rain fall down on me. It's safe to say we shouldn't be going insane. Please set me free.
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
You'll probably know A.C. Earl from his time in the NBA. Played with the Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors in the mid-90s. 4 seasons, big man, big moment era. He was a first-round pick in the 93 NBA draft, taken 19th overall, the same class as Chris Webber and Penny Hardaway. Rookie year, played 74 games, put up 5.5 points and 3.3 rebounds per night. AC's second season was a bit shorter, just 30 games. He was selected by the Raptors in the 95 expansion draft, posting his best numbers with the team. But midway through the 96-97 season, he was traded to Milwaukee. 9 games later, his NBA run was done. From there, the story gets global. France, Australia, Turkey, Russia, China, Poland, Kosovo, Montenegro, Austria. AC took his game overseas. And one of the big reasons that he was a guest was to talk about his book, 135 Most Influential Rap and Hip-Hop Songs of All Time and Why. And we talked specifically here, where does he rank the Beastie Boys when it comes to the most influential acts in rap history? Listen to this.
Oh, I think I put Paul Revere.
Yeah.
But you could have went No Sleep with No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Sure.
And you could go a little bit of the I almost picked the one where they were in the suits when they were fighting Godzilla.
Oh, Intergalactic.
Yeah, Intergalactic. I almost picked that too.
Great song. And of course, the for those guys, Sabotage. Such a great video.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a couple groups could have a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could go, like with Run DMC, you can go My Adidas, or you can go the one with Stevie Nicks. It's Like That. No, not It's Like That, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Walk This Way. Yeah, Walk This Way.
With Aerosmith.
Yeah, Aerosmith. Yeah. Walk This Way. You could go Walk This Way.
Sure. That song almost revived Aerosmith's career back in the day.
Exactly.
That video was huge.
And it also almost went and almost in it, and it's so a lot of those groups were timeless where it's just they did 3 or 4 things, not just one. Like with the My Adidas, it brought actual clothing company to the forefront.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. And now, highlighting our next Blue Light Sessions, powered in part by Canadian Club Whiskey. Meet your new cold one. We serve Canadian Club and Ginger ready-to-drink cocktails at all of our live shows. Visit CanadianClub.com today.
I see you smiling, looking like an angel in torn up denim with the whiskey halo, yeah. I wanna dive deep with you in this dive bar. You're in the dark, you're stealing my heart. Yeah, girl, you know what you're doing, yeah. I love the way you're moving, self-control. I say we lose it, baby, give me that green light. Here's the truth, no doubt about it. I ain't here to dance around it. Tell me, girl, yeah, how's it sounding? Let me lay it on the line. Let's confess. I wanna know, girl, what makes you tick? Yeah, every minute I'll make it worth it. Love watching the words as they roll off your lips. You know what you're doing, yeah. I love the way you're moving, self-control. I say we lose it, baby. Give me that green light. Here's the truth, no doubt about it. I ain't here to dance around it. Tell me, girl, yeah, how's it sounding? Let me lay it on the line. Let's skip the small talk. Let's skip the small talk. You're moving, self-control. I say we lose it, baby. Give me that green light. Here's the truth, no doubt about it. I ain't here to dance around it. Tell me, girl, yeah, how's it sounding? Let me lay it on the line. Skip the small talk. Let's skip the small talk. Let's skip the small talk. Let's skip the small talk.
Cannot wait for the end of the month. Matt Cairns headlines at Blue Light Studio. So on Friday, March 27, you've got to come to this. It's the Blue Light Sessions, Volume 48. Matt Cairns, Coco La Rosa, going to play something from him later on in the podcast. If you've been, you know, these nights are special. So both bands, both artists, get that 45-minute set. We interview them during the performance, meaning you and I, we, the collaborative, we interview the bands. Intimate, interactive. When was the last time you went to a show and interviewed somebody? It's been a while. Buy early. Tickets are only $22 right now through Eventbrite. Eventbrite, B-R-I-T-E, eventbrite.ca. Search Toddcast in their search bar. You can't miss the shows. $27 if you want to risk it and wait for the door. Doors are at 7, shows at 8. I say risk it because we only let 60 people in and we're way past halfway. I played you a new song for Chief State. It's called April Showers. Now, they have a new album that absolutely rips. So keep your ear to the ground. I'm sure they'll be playing in your neck of the woods sooner than later. Great live band. Trust me. They played a show for the podcast last year, or maybe it was the year before now. Killers. Absolutely skilled players, all of them. Wicked songs. Great guys too. Okay, coming up shortly. And stop me if you've heard this before. Tesla lead guitarist, Frank Hannon, talks about recording their debut album, Mechanical Resonance, when he was just 19 years old. That is powered by the Home Dwell Group. One of their partners, Kyle, is a guy I've known since elementary school. Well, he's been in that world forever. Right out of high school, he was already designing homes and buildings that you would know in Vancouver. Blueprints, structure, the bones of a place. You can trust him when buying or selling homes, which means he sees things that most people miss, right? What's solid? What's trouble? What's actually worth fixing up? And what's not? So if you're buying a home or you're selling a home, talk to someone who's been around it his whole life. Why not? Again, use my network. Kyle is a good friend of mine. He's going to be your good friend as well through homedwell.ca, homedwell.ca. First, the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week is our sporting guest, your BC Lions Senior VP of Business, George Chayka. He's been with the team since 1997, over 3 decades, kind of. He's left his stamp across both football and business operations, from director of marketing to VP of football and business ops. George has zeroed in on business development, steering partnerships, hunting down new revenue for the club. And yes, there are plenty of very cool things about the job.
Oh, yeah. It's the people. You know, the biggest thing for me is the people that I've met through this job and through this career. You know, we're talking about, you know, politicians, prime ministers, premiers, very, very successful business people, CEOs of big companies that, and I think that's the beauty about sports is it brings together every type of demographic, every type of individual, because they all share a common bond for that particular sport, and to be able to be part of that and develop those friendships. Robert Boza is a guy that comes to mind that, I got a ton of respect for. And there's a whole Italian community. When I went to Simon Fraser, I lived in a house with a bunch of Italians. So I'm kind of partial to Italians a little bit. And, individuals like that, I got a lot of respect and admiration for. He's a good friend. And even going back to Amar Doman, shucks, I met Amar through my connections with the Boza family and had the opportunity to talk to Amar, and he cares so much and is invested in the community. And just for me to have the opportunity to talk to him about our community programs, that's how he got started with the BC Lions as a sponsor. And then a few years later, I always joke about it that, he got involved in the company and liked it so much that he bought it.
No doubt. He goes, I think that's the beauty of sports. It brings together every type of demographic, every type of individual. The full talk with George is just over 40 minutes long. I told him I'd be about 20. That's how cool he is. You can hear it. You can see it again through iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, if you like the video portions. So before the Lions, though, let's go back there. George was a standout at SFU, playing defensive back and running back from 1977 to 1980. Then coaching running backs and special teams in 1981. After school, he spent a decade as a CFL player agent representing over 40 players. He's 6 Grey Cup organizing committees deep, 4 championship seasons under the belt, 1994, 2000, 2006, 2011, and 2 home wins at BC Place. Very cool to talk to George about his career path and other parts of his life as well, like binging Yellowstone. He shared a near-death T-bone driving story. Insane. We talked golfing and which non-football celebrity would he like to hire for the front office.
Wow. A non-football celebrity. I want somebody that has a passion for football. At the
did
end
you meet Snoop Dogg when he came? Because of course Snoop's like he's in it.
Yeah, I didn't meet him. But I got to tell you, I was impressed with how he engaged with the crowd.
He did way more than I thought. Like, weren't you surprised at how interactive he was with the crowd?
Yes, and he's got a pretty good arm.
Yeah,
like he could throw the football. And I think the story about all the youth that he's developed through this Snoop Football League that he had in LA, or I think he still runs. But yeah, credit to him. There's a guy. There's a guy, but he's obviously got a passion for football. I'd enjoy working with The Rock too, to tell you the truth. Because he's got a passion for football.
Well, of course, playing football. Yeah.
Yeah, he's taken that to a whole other stratosphere with regards to wrestling and his movie career now and everything else and all the other industries that he's involved in. But
it's amazing to see.
Totally.
Talk about bullseye. He goes, I was impressed with how much he engaged with the crowd. No kidding, right? Snoop Dogg went above and beyond. If you saw his appearance, like, was it last year, the year before? Amazing. And the honors for George, by the way, keep piling up as well. Haven't talked about those. So 2017, BC Football Hall of Fame induction with the CFL Bob Ackles Award. 2018, Sardis Secondary Hall of Fame for reviving the school's football program, right? Recognition at the 2023 Rick Klassen Memorial Golf Tournament for his support of the SFU football program. Impressive stuff. George sits on the CFL Partnership Committee, is a BC Football Hall of Fame trustee, an SFU Football Alumni Society member at large. Probably one of the trickier questions I asked him was to build the ultimate BC Lions football team. He got into it. We talked about a lot of other stuff as well, like social media, sleepless nights. We talked about his family, music, and the accordion. How about gambling?
The most was probably around $2,000, and I was with Jim Mills, who used to play for the Lions, and I was with my wife, and he was with his girlfriend. We were down in Vegas, and we were playing the roulette table, and he told me to bet on something, which I did. We both won, so all of a sudden, boom! I was up about $2,000. And I said, let's go. So we left, went to the pool. So I got lucky. I got out of the casino with a win at the end of the day.
Yeah, because often it's the other side, the big loss. Or yeah.
You actually brought another memory to mind, playing golf with him down in Vegas. And we were at this course. I can't remember the name of the course, but I remember we hit this ball, and his ball kind of went where there was a hole right along the fairway was right along the backyards of a whole bunch of homes.
Okay.
And the shot went over the fence. It looked like way down there. So I remember we're driving up, and we come and we could see a guy getting out of his back chair and walks to the fence. You can see he picked up the ball and went back to his chair. And we're pulling up, and I'm going, hey, did you see a ball around here? And the guy says, yep, but I'm not giving it back. It's mine now. And anyways, I remember Jim Mills gets out of the golf cart. He's around 6'8", around 320 pounds, big boy. And I can remember the look on this guy's face, because he couldn't tell how big he was in the golf cart. But once he got out of the golf cart and started walking towards the fence, the guy just looked at him. He got up, walked into his house, shut the door, and we never saw him again.
Did I say I wasn't giving that back? Let me just go grab some of mine from my house.
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
Those pretty blue, darling, it's true. But I got these
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
If you know anything about the 80s and 90s rock scene, you know it was a wild ride. A different time altogether. No cell phones, no internet, big hair, loud clothes, living life on the edge. Motley Crue practically wrote the book on sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Poison brought full-blown glam to the party. Def Leppard were one of the biggest bands on the planet. Rat had that sleazy edge. And then there was Tesla, formed in 1981, Sacramento, California. Blue collar, grounded, and gritty. While so many bands leaned into the excess and spectacle, Tesla brought authenticity. And when their lead guitarist, Frank Hannon, was a guest, we talked about all sorts of things, like early touring days with David Lee Roth, the party years, the drugs, the drinking, Aerosmith, disco, self-help books, touring Canada, binge-watching Westerns and Star Trek. We talked about rock autobiographies, seeing Johnny Cash live as a kid, touring post-COVID. A little sports talk, football and hockey. We touched on their Vegas residency at the House of Blues. And stop me if you've heard this before. Frank takes us back to the early days of the band, writing and recording their incredible debut album, Mechanical Resonance, when he was just 19 years old.
Mechanical Resonance came out in 86, but we had been working on it in 85, 84, 83. We had been developing as a band. I turned 20 in October of 86. So I was 19 when I recorded the album, 18, 17, even back to 16 years old, working as a musician locally, and writing those songs and playing the clubs and paying our dues and hammering it out with the guys who were a little bit older than me. Brian Wheat was 18 when I met him. I was 15 when he and I started the band. I had already been playing in bands since I was 12. No kidding. My cousin. And I grew up really quick. In my household, it was a wide open South Sacramento. There was parties all the time. So when I discovered guitar, and I played my first gig at 12 years old at a Moose Lodge in front of, 50 people, and they all were rocking out. I was hooked ever since. And then, so I just went backwards there in the timeline from the first album. But really quick, I was 12 years old when I played my first professional gig and got paid $20 at a Moose Lodge.
Yeah.
Met Brian Wheat when I was 15. He had already been playing a lot in some older bands that were older than me. I joined forces with him. He and I regrouped and put a new band together, started playing, hammering it out. Every weekend we played at either a party or a club. We met a guy who wanted to be our manager. The manager freaking drove us hard like a drill sergeant, gave us a place to practice, started introducing us to people, Ronnie Montrose being one of them. Dwayne Hitchings was a songwriter, which ultimately led us to going to LA. We would drive to LA. We would drive to Boise. We would take these cars and we would relentlessly work, practice, and gradually change from being a top 40 cover band to being an all original band. And still playing covers here and there and having fun with it, but writing our own songs like Modern Day Cowboy and Changes and Coming at You Live and Rock Me to the Top. We were super driven and very hardworking as a band. And at that time, I was the youngest guy, but I was right in there with the rest of the guys, paying our dues, and wrote those songs and put out the first Tesla album and recorded it when I was 19 years old.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by the HomedWell Group. Buying a house? Selling your home? Contact Kyle at homedwell.ca today.
I never spent much time in the USA. Lord, but I've been in some states, the kind that'll leave your head just pounding and a fog rolling around your brain. There was something in the water we were drinking in those days, mainly hops and yeast and barley and a lime wedge just for taste. And all I know now I have learned in my short time on this earth. Yes, for all that came before that was forgotten at my birth. As the walls cave in around me and the chorus starts to sing, I get a sinking feeling I may forget it all again. And as the walls cave in around me and the chorus starts its verse, I'm confronted by the fact that one day we all return to dirt. I hope that God don't hold a grudge for the wicked things that I've done, for the bodies to the bottom of the slough. Oh, I know that you were being polite when you told me that one day I'd get it right, but I don't know what it is you think I'll do about them bodies at the bottom of the slough. Here we go, once again in the darkness. I was scared for my friends, and now I'm scared for all of us. You say I'll pay the price for the way I've lived my life. I thank the gods I didn't leave judgment up to you. Here we go. Never spent much time in the USA, but I got friends that say it's nice. I got friends that say the type of things you don't pass off as good advice. There was something in the autumn air that didn't quite seem right. Cisterns are run dry and it ain't rained since late July. And all I know I have learned in my short time on this earth, yes, for all that came before that was forgotten at my birth. As the walls cave in around me and the chorus starts to sing, I get a sinking feeling I may forget it all again. And as the walls cave in around me and the chorus starts its verse, I'm confronted by the fact that one day we all return to dirt. I hope the gods don't hold a grudge for the wicked things that I've done, for the bodies at the bottom of the slough. Oh, I know that you were being polite when you told me that one day I'd get it right, but I don't know what it is you think I'll do about them bodies at the bottom of the slough. Here we go, once again in the darkness. I was scared for my friends, and now I'm scared for all of us. You say I'll pay the price for the way I've lived my life. I thank the gods I didn't leave judgment onto you. Thank the gods I didn't leave judgment onto you. Here we go. Here we go.
You got to know that Coco La Rosa is going to shine at the Blue Light Studio. So that's a new song for the podcast. Coco La Rosa and his song Bottom of the Slough. Setting the bar, I would think, at this next live show. So opening up the night 10 days from now on Friday, March 27 at the Blue Light Studio. It's the Toddcast Blue Light Sessions Volume 48. That means we do them once a month. 4 years. He checked that box off. Matt Cairns, Coco La Rosa, grab a ticket before they're gone. I think there's only like a handful left. Again, through eventbrite.ca, all Toddcast shows. You heard a new song for Tobacco Brown, and that's called Pretty Blues. So if you listen to BCIT's campus radio station, which, by the way, I push on my social media channels because I program that radio station. So you'll hear Kev and Tobacco Brown on Evolution 107.9. If you hear of them playing a show near you, do your best to go check it out, because Tobacco Brown played a podcast show back in December, and it was simply outstanding. Killer players, great guys, and amazing songs. Okay, so let's get to our final guest of episode 386. This week's entertainment guest, entertainment manager, Shruti Sadana.
I started out as an actor originally. That's what I really wanted to do. And then I was tired of sort of waiting around by the phone. Like, my personality is very much, I like to make moves, and I'm a go-getter. And then I joined this program called Beyond Bulletproof, which is led by Evie Pomporis. She's a former Secret Service agent. And in that program, you learn a lot about confidence, resilience, emotional intelligence. And she always talked about how she wanted to serve her community. And that's why she went down the path that she did. And that inspired me. I was like, well, how can I serve my community, but still do what I love? Like, how can I combine the two? I was like, okay, well, I'm on the entertainment side. Why not be a manager? And I can also be a mentor too. So now I'm doing something I really love.
Oh, I like that. She goes, I like to make moves. I'm a go-getter. I know exactly what you're talking about. So Shruti is a New York-raised actor who studied film at the SUNY. Beyond being a manager, she has a pretty versatile on-screen and behind-the-scenes resume. You saw her in projects like Out for Vengeance, if you've seen the short film called It Takes Two. The full talk with Shruti is just over a half hour long. You can hear it. You can see it again through iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen most, I suppose. Or again, the video is up at our YouTube account. We got into it, talking about her career highlights, coaching, and what do you do when it comes to the burnout of a client. We talked about seeing the Backstreet Boys in concert, hard conversations she has to sometimes have. What's more important when you're just starting out? Is it networking, or is it how many followers you have on social media?
I think I would say more industry connections, because it's about getting them seen. Well, even before that, it's like when their tapes come in, like sometimes I think people are like, oh, I think I have to play the character this way, or they get into their head. And I encourage them, like, bring in your essence into it, even if you're creating a character. Because if you're in your head, you're not present. So first, it's the presence aspect. Like, I want to feel you, and I want to believe everything you're doing when you're playing this character before anything else. Mm-hmm. And then once you have that down, then it's okay, let's bring you into more casting offices. And naturally, that way, you'll build an audience. Like, for example, the Verticals are really big.
They're huge.
And started like really booking those, and she built her audience that way. Like, the audience will come. I feel like,
right.
I don't focus on that first, because it's you, internal work first. You working on your craft first, then everything else comes.
Literally dropping gold nuggets in your lap. If you're in your head, you're not present. Beyond acting, Shruti's credits include production and makeup work, which is pretty cool. And as we always do, we went a little bit further than what our guests are known for. Initiative, talked about that. Protecting clients, but also, if you can, is it possible to get out of the comfort zone? Classical and Bollywood music came up. So did traveling, the friendly Canadian, and how to piss us off. Assessing new clients, what does she look for in that first 10 to 15 minutes of meeting somebody? Talked about setting goals and how important that is. Where she sees AI heading in filmmaking.
I definitely feel like AI is already happening. I mean, I use Chat GPT sometimes just for like help with Instagram posts, and then I'll edit it into my own.
To make it sound like you, as opposed to some I am a robot.
No, I don't think movies will ever stop or just be purely AI. I think, those things are going to be added, especially in like editing, if you're going to watch Jurassic Park, all of that. I mean, like that's been happening for a little while now, but I still feel like there's going to be more opportunities. That's what I'm seeing now, even with TV, film, the verticals, like actors that may have not had the chance before years ago have way more opportunities now. And they can do you can do content creation.
Of course.
You can go on TikTok and start a following. Yeah. Whatever you want to do, you're capable of it. You have all the tools now. So it's an advantage.
Subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, and Spotify at Toddcast Podcast.
Summer won't go easy on you. Knocking your back and dealing your bad cards. Lover, can you see through my smoke? Words I've been repeating, giving the meaning. I got 29 problems and no sign of anything working out. 29 problems and you don't have to make it 30. If you wanna save me, just lay beside me on the floor. When I wake up, I'll realize I want you to stay. There ain't nothing but my own head that got in the way. Lover, take it easy on me. I've been afflicted, playing the victim. As I'm getting older, I don't wanna shoulder what I feel. It feels good to be human. I got 29 problems and no sign of anything working out. 29 problems and you don't have to make it 30. If you wanna save me, just lay beside me on the floor. When I wake up, I'll realize I want you to stay. There ain't nothing but my own head that got in the way. I get lost, I get found, I'm a mess all around. I should probably just keep it down. I need help to sort through it. Why don't I just do it? Instead I keep laying it on you. I got 29 problems and no sign of anything working out. 29 problems and you don't have to make it 30. I should probably just keep it down. Keep it down. 29 problems I made up. Now I'm tripping over. 29 problems and I know I can make it 30. If you wanna save me, just lay beside me on the floor. When I wake up, I'll realize I want you to stay. There ain't nothing but my own head that got in the way.
I had somebody say to me a couple, 2-3 blue light sessions ago how they thought it was cool that I played more than just rock music on this podcast. And they were like, you're just so long at CFOX, like 10 years or whatever. I'm like, well, 15 actually. And they're like, yeah, that's my point, is like you're known as the rock guy. And it's cool that you support more than just rock. And I guess Anna Katerina would fall. That's her song called 29 Problems. I guess that would fall into the not necessarily rock, but there's a new song for the podcast. And I think it's fairly new for Anna, but another local Vancouver artist, absolutely kicking ass and taking names. Just on the fast track to something big. She has a big, loyal, local following, as you'll see if you check out her social media. Just lots of love, lots of sharing, just great stuff coming out of her camp. Oh, and another song that you'll hear in regular rotation on BCIT's campus radio station, 29 Problems, Anna Katerina. Another tip of the hat to not rock bands here in Vancouver. Of course, I play tons of different stuff. Yeah, is it 80% rock? It's probably 80% rock, but a little how's she going over to Anna. Okay, so before we wrap things up, and I wanted to give a big thanks to this week's guests, Reid Henry, BC Lions Senior VP of Biz, George Chayka, and Entertainment Manager, Shruti Sadana. Thank you so much for jumping on and sharing your excellent, intriguing stories. Each story is just so good. So thank you so much for taking the time to be a guest of our podcast. As we put episode 386 to bed, it's nighttime. Oh, Betty, bye. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please do tell your friends about us. We're growers. We're not showers. We're not hanging anything. Please tell your friends. I know it got a little awkward there. I will own that. I'm going to own that part of it. We are part of the Realm.fm network. They're based out of New York City. Very big hub for like fiction and nonfiction podcasts. A worldwide distribution through them. So super thankful for that. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Megaphone. Pretty much wherever you listen. And of course, you can get all the videos through our YouTube channel. And while you're there, comment, obviously subscribe. Please subscribe. But comment and rate the podcast. It's a big way of how you show up in search results on whatever it is, Google or Bing or wherever you're searching. So search us out through What Else Toddcast Podcast. A huge thanks to all of our excellent sponsors. Find the links to all of their websites at toddhancock.ca. It's where we like to house a lot of things, toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you could for as little as $10 a day, hey? Contact info is at the homepage. Maybe we'll talk and see what's up. And by the way, if you help us find a sponsor, this still sticks, we will give you money. We'll give you a commission if you help us find a sponsor. So, Joe? Rogan? Joe? Till the next time, don't be an asshole because nobody wants to be around that, like literally none. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, this is key, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast Podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
The Regency era. You might know it as the time when Bridgerton takes place, or the time when Jane Austen wrote her books. But the Regency era was also an explosive time of social change, sex scandals, and maybe the worst king in British history. And on the Vulgar History podcast, we're going to be looking at the balls, the gowns, and all the scandal of the Regency era. Vulgar History is a women's history podcast, and our Regency era series will be focusing on the most rebellious women of this time. That includes Jane Austen herself, who is maybe more radical than you might have thought. We'll also be talking about queer icons like Anne Lister, scientists like Mary Anning and Ada Lovelace, as well as other scandalous actresses, royal mistresses, rebellious princesses, and other lesser-known figures who made history happen in England in the Regency era. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.